are the best anime coming out this summer, plus our final scores for our spring anime picks, all that and more on Dad-ime, Dad Anime Club, the show where three nerdy-ass dads try to reclaim our anime cred one season at a time. I am your host, Dallin, and with me, as always, are the Weeb Warriors, the Otaku in Arms. We've got Preston, the dungeon-crawling adventurer who's been reincarnated so many times we've lost track. How's it going, Preston?
Good. How are you, Page Prophet?
It's pretty good. I like the attempt to fit a title in there.
Still quite hasn't quite fit. We'll keep going.
Yeah. And we've got the manga maestro, the page sage, the wizard of all things manhwa and manga, Tyler. How's it going, man?
It's going good.
Good. How you guys been? It's been a week, obviously.
It's been a week.
Good. It's been a good week because we got to some pretty dang good episodes this week.
Yeah, we did.
I was pretty impressed with a couple of them, and I can't wait to talk about them. I'm really excited. On one hand, because the season is over, and it's like, whew, it's just kind of a sigh of relief to get to the end of something. But also, I'm really excited because the new stuff around the corner is looking so pristine, so beautiful. This season that's coming up has just got me intrigued and excited, maybe more so than any other season I've watched up to this point, because there are some solid shows returning, and man, the hype is real. I can't believe we're getting a season this absolutely loaded coming up around the corner.
You think we're gonna get another Youngblood opener?
Maybe. I don't know. I bet not. I bet it'll be something else.
Right.
What I really want to
with
know
that.
is, how does DanDaDan follow up an opening of Otanoke? Because that was so good.
It's true.
I just feel like whoever has to follow in those shoes is just set up to fail.
A really high bar.
Yeah.
Really high.
No
bar.
matter what, like the season 2 opening, no matter how good it is, people are going to always be like, it's not Creepy Nuts.
Or the closing one. Like, honestly, I'd be okay with if Kaiju number 8 kept their one, because it's almost like a meme at this point where
Nobody
they set it up
loves you.
really thinking nobody wants you or likes you the way I do, and you're just like, I want to jump for me.
But speaking of anime openings and closings, I was talking to my dad. We were just looking at anime's top, not animes, but we were looking at albums top like Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
For prog rock, it was Yes was one of the top albums. They had one of the top albums, and I was like, where do I know Yes from? And I'm like, oh, I know it from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's the To Be Continued it's Roundabout by Yes.
They
awesome.
made it. They made it.
Yeah. Once you're an anime extra, you're good.
That's so
Anime will
awesome.
save the world.
Yes. It's always cool when an anime opening or exit song kind of penetrates beyond just anime and becomes part of the culture that you could talk to some normal person about it. Because I feel like that happened with the Jujutsu Kaisen ending for season 1. I feel like the DanDaDan intro has done that. And there was another one pretty recently. Oh, the Yawasobi... what was that show called where they were the twins and they had the lights twirling around?
Yeah.
Oshinoko.
Yeah.
That one broke into the mainstream as well. It's so cool when that happens. Even Mashal a little bit. That season 2
again.
All I'm thinking about right now in my head, and I'm thinking about Fight the Dragon by Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking you could easily put any news article with the extra, the dude who does the voice for Dragon Ball Z, and just be like, and next time on bullshit.
Next time on America's on the brink of World War III.
Sasquatch is sent in with his AI brother, the beaver.
For real.
I think Dragon Ball Z needs to do our news now. That would be a great segment.
I might actually listen to the news at that point.
Yeah, I would watch the news if that was happening.
And then he dropped the F-bomb on television.
Oh, ew. Yeah.
Last
Oh,
time
and
on
speaking
the news.
speaking of America, World War III, whatever. By the time this airs, 4th of July is right around the corner. So happy 4th of July to those who celebrate.
Happy 4th.
I hope you stay safe and don't do anything too crazy.
So far, this is just proof. I've got all digits, but by the end of the 4th, we'll see.
on my screen, like your fingers are cut off, so all I see is like 3 fingers.
See, I've got all my fingers.
Like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like.
Yeah. Cut them all.
Oh, I don't know about you guys. I find it harder and harder to stay patriotic every year. It's just killing me. And I don't want to make this political, but let's just say I might be watching anime instead of doing 4th of July stuff this year.
I like blowing stuff up. That's
because
my favorite of the year.
We've got an anime actually airing episode 1 on 4th of July, and it sounds like I might want to watch that instead.
So I think I'm a U.S. history teacher, so the most American thing you can do is to be because our founding fathers just wanted you to enjoy life, like. Do what you want to do is the best way to show your patriotism and vote.
Yeah, and blow stuff up and eat a burger and that's and always
Eagles
fun.
And hot dogs.
Eagles, hot dogs, and AI Sasquatch. That's where it's
there you
at.
go. America, baby.
And next time.
Oh. Yeah, don't even get started. I don't even know what that report's gonna look like. It's gonna be crazy. So you guys want to jump into the end of spring season? We're going to talk about Fire Force Season 3. We're going to talk about To Be Hero X. And we're going to talk about Sword of the Demon Hunter. We're just going to give our final impressions. And yes, I know Sword of the Demon Hunter isn't over yet. And same with To Be Hero X because they are 2 core shows. But we are going to give our review for what is out up to this point. And if you're thinking, wait, what about Kowloon Generic Romance? You're right. There's one more episode coming out, so I think we can hold out one more week for that one, just to see how that all concludes, and we'll update our score for that one next time. But you guys want to jump in?
What's our score? We got to figure out. Are we doing Dragon Balls? Are we doing?
I say we save the Dragon Balls for our Is It Anime segment.
Okay, there you go.
Which I've got one for this episode that we can talk about. But I say
dad jokes. How many dad jokes?
Yeah, let's make it an out of 10 scale.
Out of 10
because everything Mal or Annie list are out of 10s, and so I think the anime community as a whole is pretty used to an out of 10 rating. I think if we went in there and did something different, people would not like it. Don't rock the boat. Don't rank things out of 7 or out of 6
Let's do them out of 9 or 7.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So 10 dad jokes out of 10 dad jokes is a perfect anime. 1 dad joke out of 10 is just hot garbage. How about that?
Sounds good.
Perfect. So let's start with the one.
It's the dad cringe scale. How hard did you make him cringe?
There you go.
Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, one of these made me cringe.
For sure. So let's start with the one that I think is no surprise to us, and if you've been listening to the show up to this point, probably no surprise to you either. Let's talk about Sword of the Demon Hunter, because I feel like we all have very similar thoughts on that show. Why don't you kick us off, Tyler? I think you seem the most upset right now.
I actually like the writing in Sword of the Demon Hunter, which is probably holds to the anime, the manga a little bit there. But I also know the manga's not complete either. So I do think it's slowing itself down. I think the writing was really well done. It's very cyclical. The imagery placed into the show, all of that was really well done. But it's so slow. So like when I'm giving it like for dad cringe, like I can't sit there and just watch something just pass across the screen at a snail's pace. Movies barely do that, right? Like so I mean it's just for the purpose of anime, when I sit down to watch something, like this was hard. I felt like the first episode did solid. I felt like a couple episodes in it was pretty good. I felt like it had cyclical stories, and then it just felt like it was just going to repeat itself the next time around and the next time around. And I was like, that was good. You should have really gotten to the meat of the manga or the meat of the story.
Yeah.
So
I need a breadcrumb trail that I can like feel like there's a payoff, and right now I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
So for dad cringe level, this was pretty high for me, because I was like, I can't. I actually literally was like, I don't want to watch it because it's too slow right now. It's just slow. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I could watch it in one long sitting and I could watch them all back to back, and I didn't have something else that I was watching in tandem that had a much faster pace, I think that honestly does color my perception of it. very
Dude,
strongly.
I literally so for a while now I've been watching just our shows, and this week I sat down and I put on One Piece, and I was behind. I was behind 8 episodes. And if you've been following, we have Saint Saturn shows up in One Piece, which is a big deal, and then we have a background of a main character, which is Kuma. I get to watch this whole flashback with Kuma, and I had more emotion in those 4 or 5 episodes of Kuma than I did in all of sort of the Demon Hunter. And I was just like, this is pacing.
Yeah. And that's saying something from One Piece, right?
Yeah, right. Like I was like, this is great. So I know I'm a fanboy, but like it was great. And so I'm like, this is the pacing that sort of the Demon Hunter could have had. But again, if it went that fast, I don't think it could have kept up. The manga doesn't have very many chapters.
Though, like the thing that it does well is it ties in the stuff like the symbolism and the flowers, and like it does that stuff really well. But to your point, when you linger on something and you show something on screen and it sits there for a while, for me, there's got to be a payoff to be like, oh, I just noticed that thing on the shelf. As an example of that, Wisteria, Wand and Sword. Yeah, they did that in a couple of their setup scenes when they go into like the office and it just sits there and lets you just like soak it in. You're like, oh man, look, there's like a tail of a newt over here, and there's a dragon skull, and like all these little cool little things. But I don't feel like I got that with Sword of the Demon Hunter, and that was a little disappointing.
Sword of the Demon Hunter had this like Fearin kind of feel where it was like pretty, but like Fearin pays out. Like there's a reason it's slow. They're walking, like it is slow for a reason, and it's slow because it's making you uncomfortable. Yeah, but it's trying to make you feel uncomfortable or make you think, because you're supposed to be thinking about what Fearin's thinking about. So like I feel like this missed the mark there. Like Jinta or Jinya, like I didn't get much from him during the slow moments.
Yeah. And maybe it's one of those ones where it's just too deep and I don't get it, but I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but I feel like we said it was out of 10.
Yeah, so like if I'm thinking like Mugen Train, it to me is like a 10. That's such a beautiful arc for Demon Slayer. So if I'm thinking like what's a 1 to me, and it's like trash I would never watch, I would put this like to give it a number, I'd probably like a 5 or 6, because animation wise it was beautiful, story wise it was great. Did it capture my attention? No, and that's where I take away like 4 points. So 6 out of 10 for me. So 6 demon slaying swords out of 10.
But you don't.
So it does have some pros, and I think you hit on them. Like the symbolism is great, the writing is great, but I think that's about the only pros that this has for it. There's a long list of cons, and I think it's slow unintentionally. It just is slow for no reason. There is hardly any connection to the characters, and when something bad happens, I'm just like, okay, like don't care that much. I think it just misses the mark in a lot of ways. This is, to me, the perfect, just like middle of the road anime. It doesn't do anything completely egregiously wrong, but it doesn't wow you either. And so for me, I'm going to give it 5 empty stupid buckets out of 10.
And I think it's funny that you say that, because I was thinking about it just now, and I was like, well, Inuyasha does this. Inuyasha's on a search quest to fight demons and shit, and like it does a great job. It's not as slow as this, right? Demon Slayer does this. It's way more fast paced, way more organized. I think like you do have to look at that. This isn't doing anything for the industry. Like
it needs to be something intriguing. Yeah.
Oh, and I think that was the other thing I forgot to mention. You kind of hit on it there. Is this world isn't that interesting. We've seen this world before. This is basically the same world as Demon Slayer, right? And not even just Demon Slayer. Like it's a very common anime thing to be like, there's the lone samurai fighting the monsters of the world, and he travels and takes out the monsters. Like it's not treading any new ground. It's doing stuff we've already seen a million times.
It's end of the feudal era, almost the Meiji Restoration era. Right. Like I know where it is in time. I know where it is in place. It's just not as interesting as it could be.
Yeah. Take stuff like that. You could take that same place, time and place, and then you put something interesting like Princess Mononoke, right? Where now suddenly you got this demon that crawls out, and then this demon creates intrigue, and you're like, whoa, hold on. And then you see a deer that has a weird and they all start to tie together, and it tells a story. Whereas, kind of what you said, it feels a little Monster of the Week, but I'm not getting anything out of it that's like okay, I'm seeing a larger tapestry that's going on here. And I think that really, if I could get that from it, I'd probably give it more, but I
Well,
think I'm,
like,
I'm in
again,
the
like,
same boat for you guys. Like,
in Yu Yu Hakusho, in Inuyasha, they're looking for something, and each Monster of the Week episode, whether it pays out or doesn't, is always to lead to either like the sacred drool or to gain strength or to protect your friends. This just seems like him aimlessly bouncing from one thing to another, and to do that in almost 8 episodes, just to
Yeah.
aimlessly move around the
yeah,
screen.
it's
Like
fine if it
that's
takes 3 or
I'm used
4
to like the
episodes,
first
but
4 or 5 doing that. I'm
Yeah.
used because like, it's how it is in mangas. Like the first couple chapters are always just introducing setting,
Sure.
and it's
Yeah,
just
you have to have that
aimlessly
inciting
exploring.
moment. And
Yeah,
he had that inciting moment. It was cool. But ever since then, it's like you said. It's like if you're playing a D&D campaign and you're like, "Why am I here? Like, what is it that I'm doing?" Oh, well, you're supposed to save the town. I was like, "Well, my character doesn't care about this town. Like,
Yeah.
why am I here?" Like,
yeah. So Preston, out of 10 whatevers, what's your scale for this one?
I think I'm in the same. Like, it was beautiful. It was pretty. I like the animation style. I like the stuff. From an artistry standpoint, I think I'd probably say like a 6, maybe a 7. But from a pure storytelling standpoint, it's like a 3.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to say like a 4.55,
There you
somewhere
go.
in there, because
right.
it was just not capturing me.
So far in our first ever review on Dad-ime, Preston is the meanest, Tyler is the nicest.
Yeah, you can call me Simon.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Perfect. No, but we're all pretty much in agreement. I think we're, only out of slip by a point, which really just kind of hammers in how middle of the road the show was for us. And to the point where we were like, God, I don't want to watch this anymore. I'm over it. Let's move on. So, okay, well, let's dive into one that's a little bit more exciting. One that I think kind of caught the industry by surprise. Definitely caught me by surprise. Like I could sort of see glimmers of it being good when I watched the first couple episodes, like when we did our impressions of it, back on episode 1 or 2.
I never knew.
And that is To Be Hero X. That show, I think, came in a little bit of an underdog, but the season was pretty weak and was able to kind of rise up. So what do you guys think? What are your thoughts and feelings on that one? Preston, why don't you kick us off this time?
I really liked this. I guess it's anthology, right? Where you're saying different pieces of different part of the story, seeing stuff.
Yeah.
To me, I liked it. It was weird at first, and I was like, "Ah, man, I just really started liking Nice. Now I got to start caring about this other person." But I'm finding myself now seeing the stuff from different perspectives, especially this last episode where it starts to finally tie in Lucky Cyan and the conversation when Queen comes in and everything else. When you're like, okay, like this is intentional. Like I was blown away. I'm loving the art style. I'm loving the sound design that they've been using with it, like the Foley that they have in there. Like everything is hitting high notes for me on this. It's not. I don't think it's perfect, and it's not like, to me, if I was to put it on a pedestal, and say like if I was to put it on a scale, I agree. Like the very last episode of you guys know this, or at least Dallin knows this about me, of season 1 of Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? If I'm putting it up there, or like Ghibli level or other stuff, I don't think it's quite there. But I think it was jiving with me. I'm hitting it probably like an 8.5. It was good.
I think I'm in the same boat. I think like if you were gonna watch it, or if I'm gonna recommend it to someone, I wouldn't recommend it off the first episode, like, or even the first anthology piece. Like the Nice chapter doesn't seem to match as much as the art style. Like if you're just looking at art style, it doesn't seem to match everyone else. I think Nice is a little bit more in the future, because if you notice at the Queen episode that we just watched, she's fighting an actual bad guy, whereas Nice's bad guy is like, staged.
Yeah.
Right. But like, I like it. Every time I get a new hero, I want to know more about them. Every time I see the story, they have intriguing stories. Lucky Science story was great. Queen's story so far isn't good. I'm more interested in Boa. But I mean, a couple more episodes, I'll love Queen, and then it'll end it. So I think what's frustrating me about this is I want more of these characters, and I think that's the only reason I'm taking points away. Because like, as far as like a good anime goes, it's not a 5. It's definitely not a 6. It's not a 10. It's not like every episode I'm like, God, I love this. I'm like, I like the music, I like the sound design, I like the art, I like what it's trying to do. I would say 8.5. That's right. Nice. Where I put it.
Solid.
So for me, man, this one it was tough to score, really, because for all the reasons you've mentioned, especially the anthology piece of it, that's the thing that I dock points for. And it's not because it's bad, it's because the season isn't done. And I feel like I haven't seen this way of telling the story pay off yet. And I think by the second half of the season, it will probably paint, like Preston said, that tapestry, and you'll finally see it as the whole. But right now, we're kind of just seeing it bite sized. And like you guys mentioned, anytime we finally start to like a character, it cuts away and now I have to start over. And that's frustrating because I'm like, dang, I really don't want to move away from what you're doing right now. But at the same time, there's so much to like about this show. The world is cool. The animation is excellent. The opening song is great. The ending song is great. The characters are great. The writing is good. There are maybe a few misfires here and there. Like I felt like Moon was kind of annoying at times and maybe kind of brought the show down to a little more juvenile level, especially in the first or second episode. But as it kind of went on, I was like, no, this is actually good stuff. But I don't know. I think I'm at an 8 for this show. I think I'm going to give it 8 super lucky powers out of 10.
Can we just talk about Boa's episode just real quick? Because goddamn, that fight was awesome,
dude. That was on par.
When she stops Boa and she throws her thing and it cuts through all the cranes, like I was just like, that was amazing,
dude. It was on par for me with the Uzui fight from Demon Slayer. Like it was that good. Like the sound effects, the animation, the just like particle effects, the like scratchy Sakuga moments were all there. And like I know you can't judge an anime solely on how it looks, right? It's the same with like a book. Don't judge a book by a cover. Don't judge an anime by how beautiful its fight scenes are. But that said, it had some damn good, beautiful fight scenes.
And when they get the icing on the cake, it's just like, oh yeah.
I judge animes by their fight scenes because I think back to like Theron, and I think the episode where she's fighting her doppelganger. That episode is so freaking amazing. And I'm like, this one's not that far yet, but like I could see these fights getting there. Like
get those impact frames and
it was great.
I really enjoyed it. It's that last episode. That fight was epic. I thought. Well, it was
and I was
so
like,
good.
in my head, I was like, oh, so that's why they call her Boa. Like she's striking from like every angle, and like it was just insane. And Queen, like, there's no way she could hold her own if like she was like a propped up person. So like, I'm even like thinking about it even now, like that fight scene. So I think 8 is well deserved. It's got me thinking about it.
Up and she's like, when rules are broken, that's when they become stronger.
Yeah,
you know, like pounds early on. Yeah.
When
but
we
do a really good job of this pacing. That's good.
We've seen lots of great mage fights in anime. We've seen lots of great mage effects and spell effects, and this for me was just as good as the best of them. Seeing all of Queen's stuff, I was like, man, this is how a good attacking mage is supposed to fight. Like the spells look sweet. It was just it was just good stuff. I'm like, it was scratching that D&D fantasy for me. I was like, that, and I know it's superpowers and stuff, whatever, but it still was hitting that itch for me, and I loved it. It was so good.
Well, and like, Boa was being brutal, and it was just like that was good, solid storytelling.
The gloves off, and I love the other thing that was nice is that the way that they've done the build, and I think this is where this one shines, and the other one that we were not going to talk about anymore was
sort of the shut up
really,
he named.
they built the characters in a way that you're like, okay, I can relate to them because of this. I can relate to them because of this, and you root for them, and you start to say like, for me, Boa, they're low key like rooting for her. You know what I mean? Because she's like, I have busted my. This is Emma. We're gonna get in trouble if we swear.
I mean, I've sworn twice already today.
All right, we're good. So she's like, she busts her ass, right? She's got there. She's doing her everything, and she's not taking it for granted. She's not just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna get these superpowers just because people like me." Like she's putting in the work, and then she gets totally the rug pulled out from under her, and then she's having to come back. And I don't know. It just shows how a good person and someone who was well intentioned could get poisoned just by that envy.
Well,
right?
and I
it's
think
the
that's
Rocky
what's been
Balboa antithesis, right? It's like how many hits can you take and still get back up, but instead it was how many hits can you take and then go the dark path.
Well, and I think that's the point of the show, is that if we're going to talk about all these people having these trust values or these like values, what's the inverse of that, right? I think that's where the writing becomes really good. So I
power
like it.
corrupts, and
well, and it's like with the fear of holding on to the power, right? You don't want to lose it. That's what Boa's scared about. She's scared about going backwards after working so hard. But that's the same with almost every villain. Like Nice's villain had the same storyline, right? Isolde probably the same storyline, right? Lucky Cyan, dude, he already fell from grace. Like he already had lost it all, right? The fear of not being something in a world where value is placed on trust.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. So I think we're all in agreement there. We're all, 8.5, 7.5, 8, somewhere in that range for all of us. Okay, so then let's move on to the other show. We're going to talk about Fire Force Season 3. And man, can we just real quick just talk about how great that last episode was? Like, I know people are probably mad that it ended in such a cliffhanger, but dude, the last like 5 minutes of that episode, that was amazing. That was to me so like.
So are you talking about like the fairy show fight? Like, is that what you're talking about? Or
no. The last like 5 minutes where he sprints with the Adela Link and he has like speed, sprints back in time. The way that was put on the screen. Have you guys ever watched David Lynch at all? Like to me, this was David Lynch in anime form. Like it was so weird, so scratchy. I love the way that they brought actual photos and actual video into the anime and then put him on top of it. Man, it was just so like, this is the way anime is supposed to be. It's a visual medium. You're supposed to tell a story through visuals, and that's exactly what they did for the last couple minutes of that episode.
They actually did it well, because I've seen others where I'm gonna use Black Clover as an example, where it got that scratchy look when they started doing the fight scenes, and the first time he went all demon and went freaking out. That one to me was distracting. But for this one, exactly what you said, like we got into that like, okay, we're in this surreal, we're gonna do like the Salvador Dali, like somehow there's these two different art styles and we're gonna splash them on top of each other, and it's gonna give you that uneasy feeling of like friction and madness. And it worked. Like it did well. Like
the only thing I keep thinking of, like, that's not how light speed works, bro. That's all I'm thinking about. But like
the theory of relativity.
Hey, if American comics do it with the Flash like all the time, Show can do it in this one. Or not
so I was thinking I actually thought about it, and I'm like, so he's an Adela when he goes light speed, right? That's where he is, which is like kind of flipped. So maybe that is how it works in the Adela world.
Maybe like, Adela time goes the opposite direction.
Yeah, maybe, right? Like, I was just like, this is crazy. But you're right. Like, having the two different medias actually was unsettling for me. And then, like, the last thing he says is, like, I'm nauseous and, like, he doesn't feel good, right? Like, and then he's in someone else's body. And I was like, I haven't read any of the manga because I wanted to keep this one visual and, like, moving. And so, like, this one, I was just like, oh my God, we get a
like, wait, what?
Flashback. This is awesome. So I love how they're doing this trope where he's actually in the past. So like he'll try to make decisions and prevent, but he won't be able to prevent. He'll have to just learn.
He's got he has to just learn to take those lessons with him back to.
Well, and then I think this is also like being the firefighter that he is. He can't save everyone, even though he wants to be a hero who saves everyone. He's got to learn a lesson.
When he took it to the face from Juggernaut, Juggernaut's about to fire, and he just. Boom! Right in his face.
Which honestly, like, maybe we shouldn't have been fighting the kaiju because it looks like it kind of messed everything up because it bled into the pillar.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
So no fighting kaijus. Sorry, Preston.
I think for this season of Fire Force, do I think it's my favorite season so far? No. I think season 2 was better. I think season 2 was a little more exciting. The pacing was a little bit better. But
you got Benny's fight into the building, like with smoke, like with Joker. It was great.
Yeah. Like, there was some really great stuff in season 2. But season 3, while I feel like it maybe kind of stepped backwards a little bit in its animation quality, not like enough to call it like a fall off or a drop off or anything. Just like, I don't know. I feel like 2 was slightly better. This season, I feel like there was a lot more episodes where I was just like, okay, like, fine. But that last episode alone for me was so good that I'm like, damn, it brings the rest of it up, in my opinion.
But question for you, how many episodes was season 2? Wasn't it 24?
Yeah, because I think they've all been 2 core up to this point.
So, I mean, this is part 1. Right? We're mid-season finale, this is perfect timing for. I think we're going to get payoff.
Yes,
the second half.
I hope
for sure. I think the second half of the season is if the first half of the season has lacking animation, it's because they're bottling it up to use it on the last half, right? It's it's smart of them in a way to kind of save their resources and their money to blow it all out on the finale, which is how you'd want it to go. But for me, like, is it a good shonen show? Yes. It does a lot of things that I love in a shonen. It subverts tropes in a lot of ways. The characters are great. But I feel like this season, maybe a little bit, like I said, a little bit less than the other seasons. I'm going to give this one 7 fire departments out of 10 fire departments. That's my final
or
score.
7 of the fire trucks, because there was a million of them, right?
7
7
fire trucks out of 10.
You got to tell me why you're giving it 7 fire trucks, because where does it lose its value?
I feel like, to me, it sort of detracts in a few episodes. Like, there's the whole like Arthur's family episode. It really didn't add anything. There's the first time they face the Titan. Literally nothing happens that episode. There was another one or two where I was just like, oh, the dragon. That one was kind of dragged out a little bit.
I wanted so much more to happen there. And so, like, I think like it's 7, but like a to be continued roundabout from yes.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah,
like it's
7 with
now.
with an 8 upside, right? I think that's
like,
my skill.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z, like, we're gonna see this improve. I definitely think the 7 is deserved for this first half. When if I got to sit down and watch all 24 episodes and one continuous go, it probably would be an 8 or a 9.
Well, and but then I compare it to other shonens I've watched, right? And maybe this is like just my own skill being
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Sure. If I'm comparing Fire Force to Fire Force, like, maybe that's different. But I'm looking at other shonen shows that I've watched and I've enjoyed, and this isn't quite that level. It's like, it's a good like B shonen. Like, I think there's a lot of A shonens out right now. This is a good B shonen. And so for me,
if you were to look at it and say, like, am I going to drop everything to go watch this thing?
Of this season, yes, because this season was pretty boring. But of anime as a whole. But, like, I don't know, if this came out the same season that Jujutsu Kaisen 2 came out, I wouldn't be rushing to watch this every week. So,
I'm thinking like Solo Leveling. Like, is it that good? And I'm like, no. But is it good? Yeah. And is it classic anime? Absolutely. So 7, I would not say is a bad score.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know for me, like, my Sword of the Demon Hunter score was a 6, but I would say it's 7 because it's not finished. Like, that's right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with 8 because it's the fire department 8, and 8's a good number. So.
Okay, wait. When we get to Kowloon, are you gonna give that one an 8 too? Because of Kuno's name.
This is where I struggle, because
Infinity.
So many people, when you rank things on a scale of 10, I think 7 becomes people's actual 5. Like, people are like, well, anything less than 7 feels bad. And it's like, no.
It gets a C. It's average. Yeah. It's a 70%. I mean, coming from a teacher, that's comical, right? Yeah. It's average. It's 70%. When I'm inflating grades, like.
Yeah, a C is good. Like, by no means am I saying that this is bad. I'm not failing it. I'm not saying it needs improvement. I'm just saying it's just fine.
I agree. And I feel like, again, when we're looking at it, if I'm looking at it in isolation, and if this was the only season that I had watched of Fire Force, I probably wouldn't be as excited about Fire Force, because it is, like you said, it's a build-up. It's like they've set the tone, and as long as that payoff's there, then yes, this could creep up to 8, maybe a 9, if we get those payoffs. Because this part of the season, I've got a few laughs, like the whole tuxedo mask kind of trope, silly, being like, oh, I think I could take him. This looks like a lot of fun. Or like the stupid, fire tail, whatever, smelting hopper off her butt. And like just stupid stuff like that. There were some laughs. There were some places that were like, there's high points. But there wasn't anything that was like, oh man, like...
Well, yeah,
I have to like if I'm doing my laundry, did it stop me from doing my laundry to just be like completely locked in? I don't know that there was any point that I've hit there yet. There's been some cool points, like what's his name, the soldier, when he goes in and they build up the soldier guy. I can't remember his name.
Obi or the
scythe.
Burnt.
Oh, the scythe.
Oh yeah.
And then they're building him up to be like, all right, this guy's a badass. He's got super strength. He's top tier, and like make him scared, so that way later he can get knocked off by someone else. But that to me is just where it kind of fell short. Is that there's a lot of the build up, and I still think an 8's a great place to be on the scale. But like you said, it wasn't anything that I would be like, hey, based on just this season alone, you should watch this anime.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Cool. So I think we're all scored up, minus Kowloon, which we'll get next week. But yeah, so we've got basically a 7 or an 8 for Fire Force. We've kind of agreed for about a 7 or an 8 for To Be Hero X, and we're all sitting somewhere between.
It could be a 9. Who knows?
We're sitting between a 4 and a 6 for Sword of the Demon Hunter. So
Poor Sword of the Demon Hunter.
yeah, poor show.
Yeah.
But I think those are pretty accurate scores, at least for my 2 cents.
Now I really want to figure out if I was to give a show a 1 out of 10, what show would that be? Now I'm on a
we're
quest
gonna
to
have to
figure
get
out
there
what that
one
is.
day. That's
Yeah,
a
I gotta
one-day
find
conversation.
one.
Well, see, and that's the rating things on a scale is always flawed because, like, do you ever actually watch something that goes to a 1? No, you drop the show. You never
true.
continue it far enough to score something a 1, right? I
I
think
think
the
I've
lowest
watched a
I've
couple
scored.
isekais is like been like that.
Yeah, I bet if I
Well,
went and
well,
looked
it's
at
like a
my
trash
MAL,
gamer.
my lowest score is probably like a 4, maybe a 3. So
Dude, now I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna go through it and I'm gonna have to.
yeah, that would be a great
there's-
topic for another.
There's
another
one
week.
that's
What's
like,
the
okay,
one?
I hate this anime, and I'm gonna watch the whole thing just because
We
I
should
hate it to make sure I
honestly-
get it a 1 and give it an honest 1.
We should probably just go through like a Rotten Tomatoes list or some other list or my anime list. Find
Yeah.
the lowest ranked animes on there, and all 3 of us just pick one, and we just go home and watch it and tell everyone why it's horrible.
Yep.
I don't know that I
Just
hate
trash
myself
on
that
it.
much.
I'm a masochist. I'm a Dark Souls player here, but like,
Yeah. Praise the sun. Praise the sun.
yep, praise the sun.
All right. Why don't we go to our new
clout.
segment, the Is It Anime segment. And this week I'm bringing in one of my favorite anime adjacent shows, and we're going to debate on a scale of 1 to 7 Dragon Balls how anime is this show. It's a weird thing to say. How anime-y is this show? How much can it pass off as a normal anime? I don't know the right phrasing for it. But the show that I want to talk about is Castlevania. So
This is anime. This
is an anime adjacent
This
show.
is anime. This is not anime, Jason. This is anime.
it's an American-made product. It was a Netflix show. It was the Ari Shankar or whatever his name is, who also did Devil May Cry. He also did the second season or the second Castlevania Nocturne. So it's based on a video game. Obviously, the Castlevania series is pretty big as like a platformer, vampire hunter kind of game. Think like Metroid, but you're fighting Dracula. And the fact that they even adapted this into an anime with a coherent story, I thought was really cool. I'm sure there's a lot of lore, and the people who played the games and like really were obsessed with it kind of knew the story. But when I played these games growing up, I was just kind of like, oh, cool. You jump here and you do the move and then that's it. Like, I didn't know there was like a story to this, right? And maybe it's just because I was too young to be playing that game. But the fact that they made an anime off of it and told an amazing story, it blows my mind. So let's get into it. And why would you say it is an anime? And what about it would you say it wouldn't be an anime? And let's
Okay,
maybe
there's
go
so
there.
much to unpack here. Hold on. There's so much to unpack. Preston,
Sorry, I'm
Preston,
flying.
have you watched all 4 seasons of Castlevania? Okay, good. So no spoilers for anyone. Okay, so just warning, I will probably spoil the ending for you if you're listening.
I mean, it's been out for a while. It's been out for a while.
I know,
so,
but
like,
I this is a near and dear. So like Avatar: The Last Airbender is when forever will be put on a pedestal, and Korra, I put them up there together. They're amazing. Castlevania is all the way up there. It is, I think, all 4 seasons tell us such a solid story. I watched every single one, and every episode I was like, I want to watch another one. I want to watch another one. I'm a history teacher, so like it itched the history brain in the back of my head. It had Dracula in it. I was rooting for the villain 100% of the time.
Yep.
And then at the end, I was rooting for the heroes. They flipped it on me. The fight with Dracula in the castle, and then also death. Oh my
That one
god!
was awesome. And
Yeah.
he's just like,
well,
Yes!
they
The guy's like,
told
"How-"
the story of
Force
Carmilla,
of
which is
nature.
like an underused vampire story. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people know, like, Carmilla's the vampire story before Dracula kind of thing. People,
Yeah,
I don't know
so
a lot
then-
of people know that. So it's like so cool that they brought all this stuff in.
Okay, so then it's like all of that happens, and they tell this amazing story, has amazing art, and you're gonna tell me like what was the wind dude from Demon Hunter, the guy with the two swords who loses like one of his eyes during the fight?
Oh, yeah.
Uzui.
Yeah, Uzu. Yeah, so that fight where he's just going crazy at the demon, right? It's no different than when Belmont is just flipping his whip at death.
Yeah.
Like it is peak anime. It is peak. It is seven Dragon Balls. Like
and he still
the only wish I have is that there was more. Like I watched Nocturne and I was like, this isn't the first one, but I still loved it.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Nocturne is not on the pedestal. It is absolutely halfway down.
What I like is that they went grimdark. They didn't rely on saying, "Oh, we're grimdark," so we're saying we're dark and we're being dark because just how do I say that? Like you can tell when something hand and fist something.
Yeah,
it wasn't just a flavor. Like I can't walk by a bunch of shelves with a bunch of little toddler shoes on it anymore without thinking of Castlevania.
Yeah,
like, that's how it screwed up that is.
Well, like and you're in the church and it's in the basement. Like it's like
and you're just like, oh.
It's if Joe Abercrombie made an anime, basically. Like if he penned the script, it's dark.
Yes.
Yeah,
But it went dark and it had gravity to it. It wasn't just dark for the sake of dark.
Yeah.
Well, and like there were people and like the monster in the world, like we like to think that the monsters are the monsters in the woods that he has to fight, right? They're the monsters that he has to kill. Right? But no, the true monsters in the story are people. And I think that also lends itself. Its writing is good. Anime does that all the time. How many times did the Japanese like artist or storyteller look back in on themselves and say, no, you're the monster, dude. This monster is actually just defending itself. Right? Like it makes you introspective, right? Like and I love that. I think Castlevania 7 Dragon Balls, that's what I'm giving it. I want Shenron to arise and crown it in anime. Like,
this is out of 7, right?
So I know, like, technically it is not an anime because it was not made in Japan, right?
Made by Western.
But like, we're not ranking anything that's ever going to be perfectly an anime. These are all anime adjacent shows, and we're rating how close to an anime is it. And so for that reason alone, I say this also is 7 Dragon Balls. The reason being the animation is so similar to anime. Down to the Sakuga, down to the way that they move on the screen. It is anime, not cartoon, for that reason. Then you go in and you throw in the superb writing, you throw in the darkness, the themes, the motifs. Now you basically have created a seinen. And that's why this is so good. It's a seinen anime, just happened to be made in America for American audiences.
And I'm thinking about Alucard's sword, like when it cuts through monsters, it does that Bushido like samurai like run where they like, cut each other and then blood splatters. But his sword just flies through them, and then it freeze frames for a second, and then it's and it's like, and I'm like, yeah, that's anime, dude. Like, how is that not? Like, it's so influenced by the art of anime, and it's almost like an homage. Like, it's just like here, like we're making this for you, like.
Absolutely.
100% agree with that. The other one that gets you is that I always love a good story that gets you to root for the bad guys. And what's his name? The guy that does the soul forging, and he's talking with
Isaac.
Isaac, and like his whole story and his arc, and like his creations getting an awareness, and like what is a soul, and like how does it. Like it was so good. So I agree.
It's just more than one love story. It's a love story in a horror novel with action. it's a hero's journey because Belmont is lost at the beginning, and by the end he gets help from an old man who named Alucard, and he gains special items that are his and his alone. And then by the end he conquers what he set out to conquer, including his biggest fear, dying. Like
dying and not meaning
setup
anything.
of death, and death not just getting thrown in there as like here's a big bad, like a gotcha. He was in the story as it went, and then it morphed into like, oh, now I'm this
And you want to talk about a story that has absolutely no fluff. That is the story. There's not a single episode you could skip. There's not a single character that is throwaway that doesn't tie into the plot for some reason. It is one of the tightest scripts, one of the best stories that I have watched. And when
I'm talking about like why anime is so hard to get people into, we talked about that before. Like it's because it's got so much that you can pick from. And so like when I'm thinking like, okay, what is going to slowly dip someone's toe into the water, Castlevania is a choice. It is such a beautiful entry point for someone who's older, who can handle a little bit of the dark grim stuff, but it wants a coherent, complete story.
Yeah.
It's just
it wants
awesome.
to feel like, because I think that a lot of things that turn people off in anime is that they think there's this pervasive idea that anime is for kids, that and it's one of those ones where you're like, Attack on Titan, definitely not for kids. Like,
I mean, just go watch any
Berserk.
Yeah, go watch any 80s OVA and you know that anime is not for kids.
Not for kids.
Well, like think like I maybe this might end up on the segment later, but think like Arcane, right? Like, is that for kids? It's absolutely not for kids. Like, it is such such a heart-wrenching story that they told with Arcane, and so I think that's important.
Yeah, people need to realize, I think, and I think more people are coming around to this idea that anime and animation as a whole is a medium, not a genre. It's not
Studio
for
Ghibli,
kids.
adults are watching that, and that's literally for kids.
Yeah,
Like, most of Studio Ghibli is for kids.
yeah.
Or like Wild Robot. That's a show for kids, but I loved it.
Awesome.
Like,
Yeah,
it was
same.
it was again,
That
it's
was awesome.
animation, cartoon, not really animation, but like
Love that duck.
good storytelling is good storytelling regardless of which
Exactly.
medium it's in.
Exactly. And that, I think that's the thing that as anime goes on, this is one of the reasons why I think it grows year over year, is because more and more people are becoming open to the idea that, hey, just because it's drawn or animated or whatever does not mean it's for children. It's just a choice because maybe this movie would be too expensive to make this way unless we drew it. And also, the limits are your own skill and imagination when it comes to anime. Like, you can put stuff in anime that just can't fit on a screen because you just can't do it. The tech isn't there, or like the budget isn't there
too. So sometimes a story takes a long time to tell, like a good book, right? Sometimes a book is, yay big, or sometimes it's massive, right? Sometimes an anime takes 24 episodes. Sometimes it takes a movie that's 2 hours long. It's nice to be able to sit down and see a story told from start to end in the way that the artist wanted to tell it. Right. And so just like a TV show or a movie or like HBO, like, mini series, like these, it's the same thing. It's just animated. And sometimes animation goes a really long way. So
I wonder how much of our predisposition is it because when we were kids, it was Saturday morning cartoons, right? And how much of that thought process, because animation and anime is relatively new if we're looking at the grand scheme of humanity, right? And so, like, I wonder how much of it is just that, that because we were kids and because we watched Saturday morning cartoons, or because that was like the 70s, 80s, 90s thing to do, is that why it is? Or is it because the content has shifted and changed? Because I think there's still good stories that were told before.
I think
would
it's
you say
just because...
Simpsons? Like, sorry, go ahead.
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's because when we were kids, the shows that we watched proved to us that they were telling good stories, right? Because, like, you go back and watch some of the shows that we watched as kids, and they are complete stories. They unpack grief or mental illness or, how to get along with other people, even though things are difficult. Like, they didn't...
You just described Teen Titans.
Yeah.
You literally just laid out Teen Titans. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, that's the Slate arc. That's this
or
arc.
Adventure Time, or, any of these shows. And I think it's just because we were told stories that they didn't treat us like children. They just told us a story and said, you get out of it what you get out of it, and we're going to tell a story.
Batman, the animated series, the Justice League, Teen Titans. These are like American animes that like kicked, like they were awesome. I know they were superheroes, but I mean, they were awesomely especially.
Or
Teen
even,
Titans.
I mean, look at like Pokemon even. Like, I know it's, watch it as an adult and you're kind of like, yeah, whatever. But like when you're a kid, this is a kid going through hard things and having to say, like, he's responsible for these essentially animals that he has to take care of. Plus he has this crazy friend dynamic with people who, like, this girl just never gets along with him, but like he knows she has value and is trying to always keep this relationship it's worth it, even though it's crazy and she's always screaming at him and hating him. And then he's got like this horn dog friend who he's like, man, I gotta like deal with this, but he's so useful, and like there's so much out of this relationship. I can look past the faults and whatever.
Why are there so many Nurse Joys? Are they the what was the name of the?
It's
oh my gosh,
expensive to animate.
romance. Yeah.
It's easier just to draw it once.
Nurse Joy's and Officer Judy's or whatever.
Jenny's, yeah.
Is it because they have regrets and then they can see them?
Yeah, I don't know. So I think
like
we were
Kowloon?
told stories that just we could see them as children being useful to us. And so when we became adults, we went, no, these stories, they tell you things that are important in life. And we grew up with it, but so did the medium, or at least we grew into the different portions of the
even
medium.
as I started going like, oh, these are for kids, like I fell into that trope every now and again. I'd be like, oh, anime's for kids, I can't watch it all the time. And I was like, well, I'll watch something that's more enjoyable. I was a teenager when South Park was massive. I was a teenager when American Dad was coming out. I was a teenager with Family Guy.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm watching these like kind of raunchy, kind of inappropriate adult shows. Futurama, right? There's just
seen the Paperboy in
yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
So like you just end up with like stories can be told through animation and they can be good. I remember when Spirited Away came out and my parents bought the movie for me. Like they rented it for me and let me watch it. And because it had won awards, they didn't know what they were giving me. Right? like, but they knew people liked it. You know?
Yeah.
They didn't know what No Face was and how terrifying that thing is.
Yeah. But I think also American animation, like adult American animation, kind of gives a bad name to anime because they're just like, oh, it's that raunchy show with the weird baby and the fat guy. Like, I don't want to watch that. And so it kind of ruins the fact that you're like, well, okay, look past that. And here's this amazing show, this grimdark fairy tale story that is gothic, horror, romance wrapped in one. And there's Castlevania, and it's a literary masterpiece, but people won't look at it because they'll go, Stewie Griffin. I don't want to watch anime.
Or it's not gonna lean heavily into the over sexualized, like it's an adult anime, not because the content was a great amazing story, but because it had boobs in it and because they were all running around topless. You know what I mean? Like that's where I agree. Like 70s and 80s adult anime in the terms of like things that were written for more adults that would be classified as more like not adult in the XXX category, but just adult. You know what I mean? Like
for grown-ups.
They squarely like watching Ren and Stimpy again when I was as an adult now. I'm like, ooh, like I can see why my parents didn't want me to watch this. This is
Honestly, a lot of the shows I watch, I go, oh, that's what that meant.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
like dinosaurs.
Castlevania, you won't go, oh, that's what that meant. It's pretty clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
And never, if it has an entendre, it's meant for an adult.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think it's just proof that there is an audience and will always be an audience for adult, mature stories that aren't just jokes and haha boobs out, you know, kind of thing. Like people just want a dark, engaging, thought out story. And I think it just proves that. Yeah.
Something you can relate to, something that you can say, you know what? He's going through hell. Just keep on going. I've been there too, buddy. You're gonna make it. Like go. Like
yeah. And a whole nother discussion we can have on this, but I feel like anime has sort of moved away. Like I feel like there was a point in time when those stories were more popular in anime, and now we've kind of moved away to just like, hey, how can we be as flashy and as exciting as possible? And you know, maybe we'll save that conversation for another time. I think I have a tweet I can bring up that we can talk about that. But we'll just plant the seeds for that for another time because we've got next time on Dad-ime. Because we've got a big chunk of stuff we got to get through here, and we're already almost
and then
at
roundabout.
an hour.
No, we're just gonna play roundabout.
Yeah. So why don't we pull up the summer anime, because man, there's so much stuff to be excited about. And I don't know if we're gonna pick the shows that we're gonna watch, but I think let's at least highlight the ones that we're interested in. Because I think our goal here.
Chainsaw Man, this one too.
I'll talk about that in a second. I think we want to get a rough idea of what we want to watch, so that, you know, 2-3 weeks from now, when we've watched an episode or two, we can kind of hone in and narrow it down. But let's start casting our net, at least, for the shows that we think are interesting for summer. So let's start off right off the bat. DanDaDan season 2, baby.
I already know where you're going.
I am so hosed. Like,
So
there's so many shows here.
the one downside of season 1 of DanDaDan was that it ended in such a weird place that did not feel like a season ender. And so I'm really, really wanting to get back to it. Because it just was almost a letdown of an ending. Like the whole the series as a whole, amazing. But that final episode was just like, what?
Question:
Where's the rest?
Evil Eye, the movie,
Yes.
does it tie into the story, or is it its own standalone?
So Evil Eye is the first 3 episodes of season 2. They packaged it up as a film, and it was like a
it's kinda like Mugen
special.
Train.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a sneak peek at the coming season. Basically, they're just trying to cash in and get Americans to throw money at anime. Which I mean, it works. It works almost every time. So.
Yep.
Okay, so I mean, it's basically the same thing so far. Second season of DanDaDan. Okuran and is it Jinji? Have made a strange discovery why Momo finds herself under attack. What mysterious encounters await them next? So I mean, not being a giant fan of the DanDaDan, but also noticing that it probably has value. I would say this is like number 2 on my dude. Stop it! It's so uncomfortable. You don't have to stop. I was like, oh gosh, and it brought me right back to that episode. Like it just, gosh, she is creepy as shit.
Yeah.
But I do love DanDaDan season 2. I think it's gonna be number 2 for my selection because I'm saving number 1 for the obvious choice, September 19th. Second on Annie list, which is this one. It is the movie Infinity Castle arc for Demon Slayer. So yes.
So for those who are unfamiliar with the way that this is going to be wrapping up, so Demon Slayer kind of reached its conclusion for television with the Hashira training arc, and it decided to break down the Infinity arc into 3 movies. And you can blame Hollywood, you can blame Harry Potter for splitting part 7, you can blame Hunger Games, whatever. They know that they're going to make a whole hell lot of money, a hell of a lot of money if they split it up into 3.
The hype for the Rumble for Attack on Titan, same thing. Like I remember when it dropped, the Rumble dropped, and I was going to finally watch the last part. I stayed up. I watched the whole thing. I told my wife to leave me alone. I don't ever tell her to leave me alone. I want her attention all the time. So I was like, get away. I'm watching this. And I watched it and I was like, okay, it's over. I'm done. The same thing is going to be with Demon Slayer. I know when that 3rd one hits, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to be a little sad that it's over. Yeah. So I'm okay that it's 3 movies because I think it does need 3 movies to tell the story.
Better than if they cut too much and they try and crush too much into one movie or into whatever. I'm okay with.
And they've never done that with this manga. They never have taken the manga and said, "Screw that. Let's not add that into the film."
If anything,
they've literally gone chapter by chapter.
If anything, they've made it too long with Hashira training arc being like one of the slowest paced arcs. Of Demon Slayer.
They matched it. But they matched it. That's what they did. They matched the manga. So, it's right on track.
Here's my thing with Demon Slayer. Do I think it's the best shonen show out there? No. I have a ton of problems with Demon Slayer. There's so much that I don't like about it. But whiny. It's so whiny. But there's so much that I do like about it. It's a mixed bag. But I look at it like this. I'm already this far. Why the hell would I stop watching it now? Like, I've gotten to the finale. Like, let me just get my payoff. And the fact that it's going to be 3 movies means it's so low commitment to finish this thing out. I just got to show up 3 times over the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, that's easy. But that's easy for me to do.
Like, I'm thinking over here, is it the best shonen show I've ever seen? Heck no. Does it do anime well? Yeah, it totally does. I think Mugen Train, like it plays with your heartstrings. It's a story. There's growth. There's friendship. There's teamwork. It's got everything that makes One Piece amazing in there.
There's donut
but
people.
It's not One Piece. Yeah.
What makes me like Demon Slayer is that it brings a lot of people who wouldn't be into anime into anime. Because, and again, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, we can talk about this another time. It is flashy. It is exciting. It is animated really well. Does animation, that try and put a coat of paint on a pig, put lipstick on a pig? Maybe, but that's for you to decide as you watch the show. That's
Okay, and I know you're gonna want to talk about Chainsaw Man, but can I just tell you how much more excited I am for Kaiju number 8? I'm so excited for Kaiju number 8. I'm looking at the freaking frame right now of like the poster, and I'm just like, I really want to go back to that world.
yeah.
I love
Kaiju number
every minute
8.
of it.
Man.
That's one I'm definitely excited for. It's one of my top most anticipated ones for the upcoming season. Absolutely. It's rare that we get a 30-something-year-old protagonist, and so anytime we're gonna get that, I'm like, yes, sign me up.
Well,
Put me on board. I can
Family's
relate.
actually likable.
Anytime
and
there's
not
a
just
tiny,
like
anytime there's a tiny female hero who wields a giant hammer, I'm in.
yeah. Especially when they're like, I am the strongest person in the room, and I am 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Kaiju I loved Kaiju number 8. I can't believe when I heard you tell me go watch Kaiju number 8 that I was like, it's probably not that good. It is so that good.
I mean,
That was
so
I've got
good.
the
I
volumes
almost didn't watch
back
it.
here.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
almost didn't watch it when I was like, okay, Kaiju's, that's a little overplayed. Like
That's what I thought.
I could watch Pacific Rim. I'll be fine. And then when the opener came up, I was like, I'm not loving this. The
Yeah.
music's great, but the actual video itself was like really poorly 3D,
Yeah, the
like
CGI.
kaleidoscopic.
Yeah.
And I wasn't jiving with it, but then I'm so glad. I am so glad that Becca and I were just sitting there. We're like, you know what? Let's just give it a chance.
Dude,
Watch
do you
the
know
first
what
episode, and I was like, oh wow, this is great. Like,
It has.
do you know what I loved about it? Is there's a cleanup crew for Kaiju's.
Yes,
Exactly, like-
yes, it's realistic. It takes it. The world is different from what we normally get with a kaiju show. It's yes, there's kaiju and the fighting and the action, but that's not the main bit of it. And then also the friendship between our main character and like his kind of like apprentice guy who like kind of rallies him up to be like, hey, you still got gas in the tank, you can do this. Like that relationship is really good and one that you don't see that often in anime. Like it has a lot going for it.
maybe it's all of us being like, man, I wish I had a wingman that told me I had gas in the tank still, because I'm getting there. Like, I'm kind of tired right now.
I have so much problems with this list because the list just goes on, and like
We
if
don't have
just,
to go through all of it.
I mean, like,
way
if
too
I-
many.
If I went through
Chainsaw
this
Man,
whole
though.
list, I would be like Chainsaw Man. We've got this movie, The Rising Arc, which is
so
so
Chainsaw Man, if you don't know, is like one of my favorite mangas. Also, it's one of my favorite anime. Fujimoto is amazing. Like bow down to Fujimoto. But this one is a movie, so it's not a season. It's just a little. They're adapting the Riza arc, which if you know, you know. I think it comes out in what do they have a date on here? I want to say it's like September, which is like 3 months after it comes out in Japan. So like we're probably gonna get spoiled. So like mute anything Chainsaw Man on your socials if you don't want to get spoilers for this. But yeah, it's gonna be a movie which will tie into whenever they decide to make season 2. This will kind of bridge season 1 and season 2 together. Riza arc is a ton of fun in the manga. Some of the craziest stuff goes on there. If you liked the Shark Boy, if you like people with guns for heads, if you like bombs, like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time.
I'm excited.
I feel like because I haven't read Chainsaw Man and it's on my to be read, that like I'm missing a lot of inside jokes right now. So I'm definitely going to be picking up the manga as I wait.
Do it. It is so worth it. It is one of the most wild manga you will ever read. Like anytime you think you know where the story's going, it just left turns, does something else. It is so good. It's so much fun.
On this list, though, there's just so much that we could talk about. I don't even know how to say this one. It's Gachiakuta.
Oh, Gachiakuta.
Yeah, Gachiakuta I've actually read this one and I actually really like this one. It's about objects and how objects have feelings that they can be attached to, good or negative. I've read the manga. This is going to be its first release.
Is this the one where it's like they live in that garbage place?
Yes.
But it's
Yeah, so
like
they actually
the
live in a
collection-
pristine island in the sky. And
Okay,
he gets
yeah.
thrown down to the earth, which is literally full of this island's garbage.
But
right?
the garbage
Like,
is not necessarily garbage we see it. It's things that are invested with the people's feelings and like the Marie Kondo thing.
But also, like if you're thinking about it, like these objects were thrown out of the Skyland and they're all being piled up on the planet. They're being mistreated. These objects are becoming negative emotions and they become these things that are alive. But also, there are people down there in the trash world who pick up these items and go, God, this is such a nice thing that I get to have. And they pour all this emotion into it, and these items become their tools. And our main character, you can even see it on the manga cover right here. Like you can just see on the manga cover, these gloves are his prized object because his hands were marked up from a young child. So these hide the marks on his hand.
Cool.
And it also kind of goes into that idea, are like, do you treat people like trash, right? Like, so this is one that I really liked reading, and I still like reading it.
Is the trash sentient? Like
the trash becomes somewhat sentient.
So it's similar, but not exactly like oh crap, Waka or Maka sword after Fire Force.
Soul Eater?
No, it's not like that. No,
it's not like Soul Eater. Okay.
No, it's not like Soul Eater. But I mean, there's so much more here that I want to unwrap, like Sakamoto Days Part 2.
Well, first, before that, Gachiakuta, I think teases a really interesting world. So for me, Gachiakuta is definitely on my list of something I want to at least check out a couple episodes. The art style of it is so unique compared to a lot of anime that we get. And if you've been watching this podcast at all from the beginning, then you know how much I'm a sucker for just the weird stuff like that. And I think this one's going to be one of those ones that's just a lot of fun and is going to be so unique compared to other stuff that's out.
Well, and there's just so much here to break down. Like, there's that one. There's Sakamoto Days Part 2. There's Shield of the Shield Hero.
Rising of the Shield Hero. Yep.
Yeah, Rise of the Shield Hero. Which
that's a season 4 at this point, right?
Yeah.
So like you've got to have already watched 3 seasons to get to it. So like while it's something that is like I think notable, especially to those who've watched it, that's kind of a tough sell for anybody who's like, what's the show? I gotta watch 4 seasons. Like,
even the same for Dr. Stone. Like there's quite a bit of episodes.
My son will be excited for that one because he just got hooked on it. So.
There's one up there.
Stone.
Go back up a little bit. There's one up there called Tougen Anki and Virgin Punk. Those two on that bottom row
Virgin
right
Punk,
there.
Yes.
So Tougen Anki is like a blood magic system. So this one could be pretty cool. This is definitely one I'm going to check out and watch a handful of episodes.
For those who don't know, the bloodlines of Oni and Momotaru have been passed down among certain humans for generations. Long ago, the Oni are aware of their own ferocity, lived in seclusion. However, their peace was shattered by an invasion of the Momoratsu over 1,000 years ago. These two factions formed the Momoratsu Agency and the Oni Agency, respectively, and have been locked in a conflict ever since. Why does this sound like North Korea versus South Korea? We have the protagonist Shiki suddenly learns that the Oni lineage following an unexpected attack by Momoratsu, and the revelation sets Shiki on a path to discovery and destiny that lies within his blood. A meeting of the Oni dwell within him. A new generation of dark heroics begin in this tale of demons.
Seeds of godhood.
Yeah. So this one has potential. I'm not gonna go out on a limb and be like, oh, it's a must watch, but like it's definitely one I'm gonna check out and see a few episodes. But then right next to that one, Virgin Punk. And this one, I believe, is an OVA. So that means like it's like straight to net, basically. Like they're not worried about trying to fit it into a 12 episode structure. They're not, trying to tell a specific story or stay to like the shonen tropes. They're just doing their own thing. They wrote a story and they're putting it out. And this one looks so freaking gorgeous.
So this one, it says the story of Ubu, a young woman who finds herself living in a mysterious life as of a bounty hunter. She grapples with inner turmoil and becomes entangled in a world filled with chaos and the desire for powerful and eccentric individuals around her. So this sounds like it's going to take you on a trip.
And I don't know, I don't see it on here, but and it might be because it's a dongwa, but there's a show coming out called Lord of Mysteries. I think I've talked about that last week. The Lord of Mysteries is getting a full hour kickoff on Crunchyroll for its first episode. And if you have watched those shows, you know that either means the first episode's good and the rest sucks, or it's going to kick off like a banger show.
It works 50% of the time, every time.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so much here that just like I'm probably going to like dabble with. And stuff. There's just there's so much.
Usaman Gachi Fighter. Just again, I'm basing this just strictly on the image itself. It gives me that feel of like a D&D party, right? And so
it does.
For me, I'm probably gonna give it 3 or 4 episodes.
I love how ugly he is. Like, oh my gosh.
I know, like doesn't try and be like, oh, he's this.
Touching
he's
girls causes him pain, and sexual acts will literally tear him apart. Just what can
Hey,
our
I know some people like that.
This is an epic tale
Very
of one
ugly,
very
mischievous-
ugly and ridiculously strong man.
Okay, that looks hilarious.
Oh my god, this sounds so.
It feels like somebody's backstory where they're like, hey, I'm gonna do
Okay,
something completely ridiculous.
The actor who does the voice for him does not look a thing like it.
No.
I love that. Oh my god, that's gonna be freaking funny. Oh my gosh.
Now that one, the reincarnated as a
Vending
was that
Machine
one
2?
Is that one an episodic or is that a
It's episodic.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's continuation
My kids
for
will be excited for
if
that.
anybody watched that show, you'll know it is one of the dumbest isekai.
It is.
But
It is pretty
but
dumb.
it has like this kind of
Small
charm.
charm.
So like, I don't fault anybody who watches it and like legitimately enjoyed it. I don't fault them for it. But it is like, if you've seen one isekai, you have definitely seen this show. Nothing new except the fact that he's a vending machine this time.
Yep, and he can turn into different kinds of vending machines, and it's all very
Wow.
convenient that he.
It
can
doesn't even
suddenly
give a good
figure this thing out.
overview.
No.
Like
Oh,
it
What
just,
kind of vending
it just
machine?
is what it is.
Oh, I'm a gasoline vending machine. I'm gonna
Here's
put
one
gas
that
out.
is worth mentioning. I will definitely check out a couple episodes of this. It's called Clevatess.
I've heard of
You
that
said it was
name.
kind of like you said it was like Claymore,
It
right?
gives me Claymore vibes, and I don't know enough about it to know if that's like an accurate assumption. But based on like the trailer that I saw
It's like the
and the poster of it, like Clevatess is looking like it could be something really
will
cool.
be the etchy Claymore.
Yeah, the cover I think is
Hopefully
like
not.
two girls and a baby. I don't know why that's what it is. I don't know
Oh,
anything
dude.
about this one, but it
This
looks
Pokemon's
good.
gonna be weird.
Oh,
wow.
Concierge. That one I think already
Concierge?
has a season on Netflix.
What is it?
So this should be a continuation of that. It's like a
Is it
Pokemon
3D?
Hotel. It looks like kind of like knit characters, like what is it called? Cross stitch or not cross stitch, crochet or
Crochet?
whatever. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to show my wife that one because she actually collects the crochet Pokemon cards. Oh, that art style.
There's
what
another.
is this one?
I hate it when now is this in the actual like whatever? There's a bunch of other shows that is like the
Yeah, just trying to cash in on the ReZero hype train.
Yeah, like
There's one coming out called The Summer Hikaru Died. This one's coming out on Netflix. This one is a horror coming of age story, which is kind of interesting to see the two of those put together. And it's on Netflix, which for the most part has been great. Stuff that goes on Netflix has been really good.
Okay. If you've ever watched Shin-Chan, this stuff is just crazy. I can't believe there's a movie coming out for
they're making a
Shin-Chan.
movie?
Yeah, they're making a Shin-Chan movie. Oh my gosh, I did not know that. Oh man, that's a trip. Okay, so Dal, which one were you talking about again?
So it's called The Summer Hikaru Died.
I don't.
You'll probably see it just say blah 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 Hikaru blah blah blah, because that'll be the only part that.
Anime words, Japanese words I don't understand.
And then Hikaru, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it.
It-
Dude, what the heck is that one? That one looks interesting. There's just so much.
Oh, that's
like,
Clevatess. That's Clevatess.
this one's Clevatess.
Yes.
Oh, there it is. There's the English name. Okay. Story centers on Clevatess, the Dark Lord, the Lord of Dark Beasts, who wields both an uncanny intellect and destructive power. Frustrated by the 13 heroes tasked to destroy him, he decides to be rid of humanity once and for all. However, he has been charged with one nuisance. He revived a hero he personally slayed and adopts an orphan humanoid baby. The last hope to save a dying world. The world stands upon the brink of Armageddon, with an obligation of raising one child, holding it all back. Now bound together, what fate awaits the likely trio? That sounds interesting. That sounds like fun.
that's cool.
It's
Kind of like the reincarnated as a slime, where he has to go and take care of those kids that are also transported into that world,
Yeah.
and have like the gods put in them or
Yeah.
the demons.
For those who have been watching, I haven't been watching, but I know some people will probably care about this. My Dress Up Darling season 2 is airing this time around. I know that one was pretty popular, and a lot of people were vibing with that one.
I saw that one on the top of a list somewhere.
No,
Yeah.
I think it was well animated, and I think it was good, but the story wasn't something.
What was the name?
Anything
What was
to write
his
home
name
about.
again? The one that dies. What is that one?
Hikaru, Hikaru.
Hikaru.
Also, for those who care, who've been watching Toilet Bound Hanako-kun Season 2, Part
this
2.
one.
This isn't one that I'm like really interested in checking out myself, but I know like this has been pretty popular. A lot of people vibe with this show. So if you're interested, that one is airing.
That art style is crazy.
Yeah, it's
Reminds
very
me,
unique.
what's the one with the skulls in her eyes that you were?
Oh,
you did a
Dark
review of it.
Gathering?
Dark Gathering,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it reminds me of. So the name of it for Hikaru Died is Hikaru ga Shinada Natsu.
Wait, Natsu? Okay, I think I saw that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hikaru ga Shinada Natsu is what it. I'm probably butchering.
There, dude, it's the one I've been hovering over this entire time. I do want to watch this one. Yeah. So two best friends living in a rural Japanese village, Yoshiki and Hikaru, grow up together. They're inseparable until the day Hikaru came back from the mountains. It was no longer tough. So this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Changelings. If you ever heard of that, that's where kids go get lost in the mountains and they come back and they're no longer their same kids, or parents lose their mind and they keep claiming that their kid isn't their kid. And so this is like a changeling.
That's cool.
Something that's taken over Hakuru's body, memories, and feelings, and everything they know begins to unravel.
Yeah, kind of has like Parasite vibes to me a little bit, but we'll see how that one pans out.
Kowloon, if she went crazy.
And then another one I'll mention here. This is going out on like Hulu, Disney, so like it's hard to get into those anime unless you have the Disney Plus Hulu subscription. But it's called Bullet or Bullet/Bullet.
Is that the one that had like the car in the front of it?
Yeah,
on
and
the
I think
cover?
this one is also an OVA, so they're not really, tied down to a 12-episode format.
Pull up. It's up higher.
Yep.
Okay, in the near future, civilization has collapsed and the world has become a wasteland. Despite their poverty, people use remnants of the past civilization to lead resilient lives. I love it. There's a car.
This reminds me of the
Max.
mine is this thing that pierces the heavens.
Oh, yeah.
Gearworks. Gear works in a jump. So his name is Gear. Okay, Gear works in a junk shop while also retrieving stolen goods alongside Q0213, a robot with 4 personalities, and White Bear, a gambler. Okay, this is interesting. It's like Cowboy Bebop, but weird.
Yeah.
One day, Gear finds himself thrusted in a once-in-a-lifetime job to steal an important item. Also sounds like Cowboy Bebop. They soon find themselves up against a deadly assassins. It sounds like Cowboy Bebop. Heart-pounding car chases. It's not spaceships, but whatever. And explosive battles. What Gear and his team do not know yet is that the item that they stole holds a secret that could shake the very foundation of this world. Source Disney
This
Plus.
is Disney Plus. Who's the
the studio is
Studio's down here.
E&H Production. So they're not one that I'm that familiar with.
I'm not familiar with them.
But I did see a
I'm
trailer
on
for
board.
that, and I was like,
That'd be
"Hey, that looks kind of fun."
Did you hear anything about this one over here, Leviathan? It's got like Ghibli vibes for me.
Dude,
I have heard of Leviathan.
Final Fantasy Tactics. Is like that. That's the color palette and the drawing style. It reminds me of.
Yeah, this one's going on Netflix. So again, like Netflix hasn't really been missing with their anime. I think this might be good. This one,
I think this
is another ONA as well. I don't think this is like fitting into a season because I think this one only has like 9 episodes or something like that.
Yeah. It might be one when I watch when like I'm sick or something.
Yeah.
If it's good like Blue Eyed Samurai, if it's good like the other, like you said, I have high hopes for it just because of these others that I've watched that I feel like they've been pretty good with.
Format of review.
Manic Scholarship Holder.
It's a food one. That's all. That's
once you get down like 5 rows, you're getting into stuff that like, it's like
math.
I've never heard of.
I just like this looks interesting for some reason.
It gives me Fist of the North Star vibes, like just the art for some reason.
This one also looks interesting because this guy just looks super ripped in the background.
Yeah,
I
don't know. It's failing the 1 guy to 3 girl ratio.
Yeah, it's absolutely a harem. 100%. Because like even just in this trailer, We see giant boobs, and I'm guessing her boobs aren't being shown because she doesn't have any. So like this is Lolly, and these are 2 giant boobs.
Yep.
So like I think you're right, Dallin. This is probably a harem one. He's one day suddenly invited to join the party by 3 beautiful women.
And they're probably goddesses.
Oh, and they're trying to kill him. That's a deathly harem rom-com unfolds as the socially anxious hero.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith times 3.
No, because he's super shy. So check this out. A deathly harem rom-com unfolds as the socially anxious hero who faints from flustered excitement around women finds himself the target of 3 deadly companions, each with their own reason for wanting him gone. That just sounds like ridiculous. Okay, I gotta check one more out. Okay, I don't even know what this is. Tensei to Magic Maniac returns his next target. Holy magic!
2nd season. Interesting.
What's the first season?
That's what happens when you look at these lists. You go down far enough that you're like finding season 3s and 4s.
Wait. Is this like I'm the strongest like reincarnation thing?
Probably.
I think that's what this one is, and it's this one here. Deep love for magic, was born a commoner, lacked bloodline, aptitude. As he died an unnatural death. Yeah. So this one. Okay. Reincarnated as Lloyd, the 7th prince. So I actually have this manga on my to be read. So this is I am the 7th prince in the kingdom. It's an isekai.
Okay.
And he gets isekai, and it's just ridiculous. It is very raunchy, even in the manga. You can even tell she's wearing clothes that are almost the same color as her skin, right? It is pretty raunchy. So this one, the women outnumber the male in that one by far. I think that's everything that I wanted to look at.
I think we've kind of hit like the big ones plus a few extra maybes and a couple like, hey, I'll give it an episode and see kind of shows.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're into weird crap though, Shin-chan, to watch some Shin-chan.
One that's like, I've always been deterred by the stuff, but if you say it's good, I'll watch it. I've always been deterred by
I
the
do
art
not
style,
like Shin-chan, but Shin-chan has like such a people like him. I don't get it.
So let me do a quick rundown and give you some dates for some of the things that are coming out. I got this list thanks to Anime Corner for putting this together, where they basically took everything that's coming out, gave it a date, and said where it's airing. So I'll go through some of the big ones that we called out here. So on June 28th, we've got Lord of Mysteries on Crunchyroll. It's a double episode premiere, so it's a full hour long. Looks really interesting. And this one is a dongwa. On
3 days.
Yeah, that's right around the corner. Jeez. On July 1st, for those who are interested, Rent a Girlfriend season 4 is airing on Crunchyroll. On July 2nd, Clevatess is on Crunchyroll. Reborn as a Vending Machine season 2 is on Crunchyroll. On July 3rd, we get DanDaDan season 2 on Crunchyroll, Netflix, and Hulu because everybody's going all in on DanDaDan. On the 4th of July, I'll call out Call of the Night season 2. I know people like to Call of the Night. That one's on High Dive. Then we've got on July 5th, My Dress Up Darling season 2 is airing on Crunchyroll. The Summer Hikaru Died on Netflix. For those who are interested in the Bunny or the Rascal Senpai series, there's Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus this time around on Crunchyroll. Then moving over to July 6th is where we get Gachiakuta on Crunchyroll. We did call out Toilet Bound Hanako-kun Season 2 Part 2, also on Crunchyroll. Moving our way down, July 9th, for those who are sticking with the Rising of the Shield Hero, Season 4 airs on Crunchyroll, and I Was Reincarnated as the 7th Prince Season 2, that's the one you were talking about, is also there on Crunchyroll. July 10th, we looked at Leviathan, that's airing on Netflix. And then later in the month, we've got Tougen Anki, July 11th. This one is going Crunchyroll, Netflix, and I think that's Disney. Sakamoto Days Part 2 is July 14th on Netflix for those who are interested. Bullet, July 16th on Disney. Kaiju number 8, season 2, July 19th. So we gotta wait a little while for that one. That's on Netflix and Crunchyroll. And I think that wraps us up.
I think they should put Kaiju number 8 on July 4th, because what's more American than giant robots fighting?
Yeah. And then far as movies go, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Arc Part 1. In America, we are getting that on September 12th, which is so far away. Chainsaw Man, the Riza arc is October 29th. It is so far away.
What?
So far away. So
that's not even in summer anymore. That's fall. Like,
Yeah. So those are the things that I think are worth calling out. I'm not saying we're going to check out all of those, but I know those are like kind of the highlights. I think we're going to narrow down ours as we get closer. And I think we'll kind of just keep the same format as last time, where we like watch an episode or two before we decide to bring it to the larger group. But this time, since Preston went last this season and got screwed out of a couple picks because we picked the same shows, I think this time Preston gets first dibs. So
I think I know which one Dallon's gonna throw out there. So
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's gonna be some good ones.
Now?
I'm gonna have to binge watch one of these, like the first season.
I got it.
Yeah.
Seriously, there's some good ones.
I mean, yeah, if you're talking DanDaDan, I think just on the fact that Preston and I both absolutely love the show, I think it's pretty much a shoe-in.
It's a given.
Like I'm not even going to sugarcoat
number
it.
8. It's a given.
But I do want to propose a change to our format, and I want to do this in the public space so that those who are watching along aren't caught off guard. So this spring season, we did it week by week and tried to come to you with a discussion after each episode. But I think if we're being honest with ourselves, kind of made us dislike some of the shows watching them week to week, especially sort of the Demon Hunter. I think watching it that way really took the wind out of the sails. And so I'm thinking for this next season, instead of having a week to week discussion on each episode, we picked the shows that we're going to watch. And then instead of watching them week to week and doing a watch along style thing, we just at the very end of the season, we give our final reviews. I say we pick the shows we watch and we give our initial impressions, the 1 to 2 episodes that we watch. And then at the very end, once we've picked everything and this episode 12s or 13s have aired, we come back and give a final score. And in that way, nobody feels like compelled to watch something week to week. You can build up 6 episodes at a time. You can wait until the day before and binge all 12 if you want. Like that way, we're a lot more free with what we want to watch. Because I think that, especially this summer season, where so much stuff is packed in, that we're probably not going to watch all of it, at least on the podcast. Some of us, I'm looking at myself, I know you guys too probably, there's gonna be other shows that you're gonna be like, yeah, we didn't pick this, but I'm super interested in this and I have to watch this, and so I don't want to be like letting the podcast down by not watching week to week. You know what I mean?
We're talking seasonal anime, and I'm over here just like itching for more One Piece right now. And so like when I have to watch like as an assignment, it's so much easier for me to be able to. Okay, I'm gonna watch my One Piece, and then I'm gonna watch something else. Like having the assignment made it so I wasn't watching One Piece, or I wasn't watching things that I enjoyed. I was like, I gotta watch Sword of the Demon Hunter right now.
Yeah.
But like when I get to sit down and I get to watch it all in one go, sometimes the negative feelings I had in episode 1 kind of get like fixed by episode 2. And I kind of just go, okay, I can keep going.
Yeah.
So I think it will be a lot easier if I can just watch in chunks. Rather than watching it all just like one episode as it releases.
Yeah.
I just have never been that kind of viewer. I've always been like, I'm going to watch all of Inuyasha right now.
Same.
For those of us who are neurospicy,
Yeah.
it's really hard for me to remember because like Mandalorian, loved Mandalorian, could never remember the day that it came out until it would be like 2 days later and people are like, hey, did you watch that episode? I was like, wait, there's another one out. Like,
yeah.
I would always purposely like not tell my wife to watch it. So that way, like, as we got closer, I didn't have to wait as long.
that's a good idea. Cause I'm horrible at watching week to week.
For me, I'm very much like once and this is probably a neurospicy thing too, like once I like something, I want like all of the thing. I don't want to wait anymore. Like maybe I just have poor impulse control or something. I don't know. So like
Netflix ruined us. Is like
it's your
pretty much.
It's your special interest.
When DanDaDan comes out, like, do I want to be current with the discussion? Yes, of course. But I know the type of person I am. I'm going to want to go deep on it. So like, I'm probably going to wait until I've got 6 or 7 in the chamber and I can just spend a night going through, 6 or 7.
Dude,
I'm a hyper-focused kind of guy.
I'm probably going to watch the first 2 episodes of everything and then like let them kind of sit. And then after a week or 2 rolls by, I'll be like, okay, what do I want to go back and watch now? I have a lot to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think, and in this day and age where everybody is pulled in a billion different directions at all times between work and family and this hobby and that interest and this thing that you signed up for, kids soccer, company barbecues, all the stuff. It's hard to say, hey guys, you have to commit to watching these episodes on the days that they air so that we can talk about it. it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like the way that I balance my hobbies is I'm like, my anime day is this day, and that's where I watch all my anime. And this day is my video game day, and this day is my read my book day, because otherwise I will never do any of the things that I set out to do.
That's true.
So,
and I'd love to hear
It was
too,
I
like,
mowed
'cause
the lawn day. Yeah.
yeah.
there you go.
When I think it's cool because it opens it up too, so that way we can find out from our viewers, listeners, like what things they're listening to and seeing that we miss, right? Because I think that makes it fun.
Absolutely.
And it's also not like I'm gonna come into the podcast and go, I haven't watched any anime this week. I'm probably gonna come in and go, did you guys get caught up yet? Or like, do you guys want to talk about this?
Spoiler
Like, did
alert.
you see the
Yeah.
export? It's good. Or I might be like, it's trash. Get ready. Like,
Yeah, and I think it also frees us up to do more of the kind of topic stuff that we've been doing, like most underrated anime or whatever. And for the like solely being kind of selfish on like this show growing, like those are the things that have been helping us grow on TikTok. And like, thank you so much to everybody who's interacted and liked our stuff on TikTok.
Great.
Like that happens for some reason to be the place that we're growing is through shorts. And so thanks to the people who've helped us, reach 30,000 and 17,000 and 8,000 and all the numbers that we've reached. Like, I didn't think that was going to happen within we're on episode 10. Like, that's pretty crazy to me. Like, thanks so much for that. But I think in order to help fuel that, having these things that we can chop up into bites helps us out more than, hey, can we have these long form discussions? Like, I think there's a place for them, but I think for my own selfish interest and for the interest of the show, I'm kind of like, let's do the short stuff. Let's do the exciting, topic of the week kind of stuff.
I think it's cool too, because the more people we reach, the more people that are getting in the chats, the more I like going and reading. I might be that fly on the wall that likes to sit and read through the chats. I might not respond every time, because especially if there's a conflicting opinion of like, you need to watch Gundam in this order, and I'm like, I don't have that strong of opinion, but I agree with all of you.
Yeah,
but it's cool to like see the different perspectives and stuff, and like, because you got people who are new to anime, you got people who they've been watching anime for 30 years, and it's cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. One thing I've noticed, and I'm not calling any specific people out, but it seems like whenever we post like an opinion, something with an opinion, and like, hey, here's some shows that fit, X category, a lot of people are very just like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I like this show. That's a great show. Or like, here's my suggestion or whatever. Love those interactions. But for whatever reason, the people whose profile pictures are anime characters, they have the strongest opinions, and they're always, oh, you guys, you're wrong. You're an idiot. That's not right.
I might be an
because
idiot. I might be an idiot, but here's the thing.
Comment
Like,
away.
we ingest what we ingest, right? Like, we enjoy our anime the way we enjoy it. And if Gundam is not my thing, Gundam's not my thing. But like, if you think like, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon is dumb, or because it's a harem anime, it's not dumb, dude. That Minotaur fight freaking rules, right? Like, your opinion, yeah.
Or
But,
like people will be like, you didn't list a single anime older than 5 years old. And I'm like, yeah, because nobody, like, we're trying to say stuff that people might want to watch that they can watch on
here's the thing. I
Crunchyroll.
can go back and like go, okay, these are the animes I used to watch when I was younger. These are the retro animes that I have watched, like Trigun and all those other ones that I really like. Or like, maybe I could sit down and watch Conan, or like, there are all these other animes out there, right, that we could talk about. But
I don't want to recommend something that's like, it was only on VHS, you can't get it online. Like,
Exactly.
good luck.
Yeah,
But I loved it.
So,
but like, I think this format frees us up to look at some of those things that you're like so passionate about and say like, let's dive into that new topic, because I absolutely want to look at some older animes.
I was just about to say, I think we're due for a retro segment. And like, retro means different things to different people, right? Like, something that's retro to us may not be retro to you if you've been watching.
Okay, but the eras of anime, retro is the early anime. Right, it's our '80s anime. I know retro's older.
I hate to break it to you. I think we're in the time period where anything 2000s can be considered retro. That's 20-year-old anime, my man.
Because that's Naruto. That's One Piece.
20-year-old
like
anime is retro, dude.
Linkin Park, it's classic rock now. So
I hate you guys. The white in my beard is just getting whiter. Like,
it's true.
So I think we might, instead of doing just retro anime, maybe we'll break it down to like 2000s anime, 90s anime, 80s anime, even maybe 70s anime. Because I think there's some cool 70s anime too that are sort of fun. And
there's some that like you remember as a kid, and you're like, man, I remember seeing someone else watch that, and I wish I would have watched it. But you don't know what it's called. I think it'd be cool to go back and like see those. But the classic motorcycle sliding, and like seeing how many times you can see that trope.
Oh yeah.
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 So
bow,
Akira,
bow down
like-
to Akira. Bow
Yeah.
down to Akira.
Yeah.
They gave that to
That
us.
movie's crazy.
Dude, so
that
good.
that gets
I mean,
its
it was
own
in
corner.
Batman Forever. It was in like that scene. It formed so many people's.
Well, and now even in anime, they'll slide without a motorcycle. They'll just like power slide. They'll just run and jump and slide exactly in the same format. So like, yeah, super influential. Anyways, so that'll be the new change going into summer. I know we just talked about that for like forever. It was a long-winded way of saying we're not going to do a week-to-week discussion.
Honestly, yeah, we talk a lot.
But I want to provide like the reasons behind it because I don't want to just
Yeah.
tell somebody we're doing this and that's it. Like that seems so
Hello.
lame. So to me, it's more like let you in behind the scenes, the insight, why I'm doing it. Because I do want this podcast to grow. And I think it's a ton of fun. And if we're able to reach people and show them some cool anime and just even have a community to talk about anime is like in this day and age where it is so hard to connect with people on anything, it would be nice to have a group of just like, hey, you're welcome here. It's safe here. You can talk about anime. We can just geek out and have a good time.
The best part is it's not an echo chamber. You can have those different opinions, and for
Absolutely.
me, I'm going to talk to you the same. Like it's okay.
Yep.
You can hate my animes, and I will hate your animes, and that's okay.
You
We'll
can
still
be a
I've never met a
harem-loving
man-
isekai.
I've never met a man so confident. Like he's like, yeah, I have my opinions. Violet Evergarden makes me cry, and like he's just gonna
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
and like I'm over here like I just like my shoujo. I like my shonen. Like I just want to like watch it, punch things.
Yep. But I think
Feel good.
I think also that's why this is so fun. Is like between the three of us, we have
Yeah.
wildly different tastes and opinions on things. So
I'm
it's a
just
good
like
time.
mainstream. Like give me Dragon Ball.
Solid. All right. Well, I think that covers just about everything I wanted to talk about this week. We gave our scores to spring anime. We debated, and it wasn't even really a debate, on whether Castlevania is an anime, and we decided it is in fact an anime. And then we took a look at summer and all the exciting shows coming out, and holy crap, is it jam-packed full of stuff. Like, I'm gonna have a hard time narrowing this down to even 10 shows, to be honest.
Why narrow it down? Just ingest it all.
Yeah, exactly. Just have no life, hide in the basement.
Get those things from
It
Clockwork
all.
Orange to open your eyes and just go for it.
I've got some bangs in the fridge. You get some rock stars. Let's just knock them
Yeah,
back and
yep.
go
You
with
just
what's
have a
out.
heart attack midway through the season. It's all good. All
Your
right.
dad's about.
Yep.
That's part of being a dad, right?
Well, on behalf of myself, Tyler, and Preston, this has been Dad-ime episode 10. We will catch you next week, where we'll do some initial impressions on some of the shows that aired. And until then, see you later. Catch you next time.
Now, guess is Roundabout's playing.
Bye.